Alright, so in this video we wanted to go over the entire process of setting up this tub repair kit, whether it works, how long it takes, and everything else that comes in between. So as you can see, we have everything that you get inside the kit. We got this instructions manual to literally guide you through the entire process, so we'll go step by step and just go through it. So first step, it says to clean, make sure it's really dry on the cracked affected areas. You can see right here we have a solid crack going through our kitchen sink, so got it dry. Should be pretty straightforward. Now as far as step 2, we're gonna grab the tape that it does come included with, and we're gonna tear pieces and really just make them long enough to where it basically will cover the entire sink. So let's see how long it takes us. Just measuring the length real quick. So give me some few seconds, and then remember, you want to set this tape around the area, not on the area. And this is really just to protect the rest of the sink from, I guess, getting damaged from the mix that comes with it, which is kind of weird because you would think it'd be okay, but yeah. Now unfortunately I didn't see close enough, but the kitchen crack is actually longer than I anticipated, so that's why I'm adding more tape over here. So as you can see, it's a pretty long strip. Gonna finish measuring the rest of the tape so that we get the exact amount, and like that we can basically finish up very soon. So here we go, another piece of tape, again around the affected area. You definitely do not want to tape over the actual area itself. So yeah, and hopefully watching this video will help any of you who decide to buy this product. Again, it is linked down there below in the description, so be sure to check it out, and let's see how this thing actually works. So yeah, we're almost done with this next step though, just finishing the last bit of the tape. And it comes with a decent amount of tape too, so even if you mess up or maybe have a bigger crack than what ours is, you should have enough tape to basically last you and again surround that affected area. But alright, so we're done. Now the next step is to get both the mixes, which is mix A and mix B, and you basically just mix them together. So we're only going to put like maybe a quarter or half of each solution, mainly because again it's just a thin line crack, is nothing too humongous. So yeah, let's go ahead and squirt these together. You can see one of them is a little bit clear, the other one's pure white. So again, we're just gonna add some of it, not all of it, mainly because you never know when we can use this again. So we're definitely gonna save it and just keep at it like that. So now I do want to mention I did get a piece of cardboard box separate. This does not come included with it, just because I didn't want to get it on like anywhere else. So now we use the popsicles right here that they does come included with, and yeah, you just mix the solution. You have about like maybe 5 minutes to mix it until it starts like hardening or like getting settled in, I guess you could say. But yeah, so just mix it in, maybe give it about a minute or so, make sure that it's really mixed in there, and that way like that it's good to go basically. So we'll keep mixing it in for about a few more seconds, and now we have the perfect solution. Again, just wrapping it up with the final mix here and there, and then yeah, we'll move on to the next step. So at this point, we're gonna get our popsicle sticks, move this cardboard over here to the area, and the next step from here is just really applying it. Now one thing I did mess up is just kind of wildly grabbing it, and look, it got over to the other part of the sink. But yeah, I'll remove that in a bit though. But yeah, just grab it and just apply it all around. You can see right there, just keep applying as much as needed. Make sure you get it in there deeply, nicely, and ready to go. Now we'll try to get most of this all up on there, just because I don't want it to go to waste or anything, and who knows how many layers you'll actually need. So yeah, better to be safe than sorry. You can see right there, definitely covering all the spots. You can't even see the crack anymore at this point. All you see is the white mixture. So yeah, so far so good. I am loving how it basically almost blended perfectly with our kitchen sink. So yeah, that part is pretty nice, because now we don't gotta go shop around for like a different type of color or anything like that. So again, we're just adding more and more of it, getting as much layer as possible. So like that, yeah, it'll just basically, stay on there, and hopefully we don't screw any part of this up whatsoever. And again, that's one thing I love about this kit, is that it's pretty straightforward to give you all the instructions. And I mean, you don't really need anything, aside from what's already in the kit itself. So no extra tools, no extra skill needed, just simply follow the instructions. Now let me get a napkin and take off that excess, mixture that I got all over the sink. So as you can see right there, got it all covered up. Nice. Let me just add a little bit more again, just to make sure that we're getting it all deep in there. And so again, it just doesn't go to waste altogether. And just dab it lightly. You don't need to go too hardcore or anything. I mean, eventually you get the whole entire thing regardless. So it's not like you need to be trying to rush this thing or whatever. And yeah, we should be good. So you can see right there how it looks. So let's go ahead and move on to basically the next step. So now the next step is basically getting this little yellow, spatula, little tool, whatever you really want to call it. And basically just, layering down all the white little caulk or whatever you really want to call it. And just kind of smoothing it down. So like that, it stays smooth. It doesn't stay all raggedy with all these bumps and whatnot. So you're really just, applying some pressure, make sure that you're straightening it all in one go, and really making sure that it stays flat at this point. So yeah, you definitely want to do it as soon as possible though, because this thing will start drying up. So you don't want to waste any time whatsoever. So make sure that you're going over this a few times until you find that perfect way where it actually sticks. And then once you're done, you basically move on to the next step, which is step 6. So as you can see right there, on step 6, you basically get this little, tool piece right here. It's like a little scraper, I guess you could say. And you basically use this to scrape off the tape. So at this point, we're basically done. So yeah, let's go ahead. You can see right there, we're going to take off the tape from here, moving forward. And now we get straight to work. So you just, you want to go under the tape and just go little by little, nothing crazy. Basically to a point where you can just kind of grab it with your fingers and just take it all out. So as you can see right there, we're getting a tiny piece already. Let me see if it'll come off. And it looks like it's coming off pretty smoothly. So yeah, looks like it came off. So I love that, it didn't stick too hard or anything. We didn't have to basically struggle whatsoever with this tape. So let me continue, taping off the rest of it, scraping it. And so like that, we can see how it's gonna look shortly. Again, take your time. You don't want to rush this whatsoever. You want to definitely get under there to the point where you don't go too crazy or too hard. So like that, you can just get it all smoothly. As you can see, look at this. As long as you got a good little corner piece, the rest should come out on its own. So yeah, pretty solid. Look at that. Now at this point, we'll just work on the last 2 pieces. And yeah, we'll basically start wrapping this thing up. Now the tricky part over here is getting that top part because it's at a weird angle, but yeah, look at that. It's starting to come off. So yeah, again, pretty straightforward, nothing complicated. I can definitely say this kit is very convenient, super easy to use. I really thought I was gonna have to waste like a few $100 on this damn thing, but yeah, it is moving very nicely though. So like that, now we got our third piece out of the way. Let's go ahead and get this final piece out. So like that, we can go into the next step. So all right. All the pieces are out. You can see right there how it looks. I mean, you almost can't even tell that we actually had to cover this up. So that part is pretty nice. Now the next step at this point will be to basically scrape it. But it looks like we have to wait 24 hours, a full day, before we can even get to that part. So yeah, here's the scrapers. Let's wait a bit and let's see what happens. Alright, so here we are 24 hours later. We had to basically wait. Couldn't even wash our dishes. Like, you literally can't use your sink, put any water on it for the entire 24 hours. So highly suggest you do this at a time that you're not going to be there. But basically, you get these little pads and you start sanding it down. So yeah, now this process can take a while, so I'm not going to fully do it. But yeah, whenever you do it your own self, definitely just take your time, scrape it down. And so like that, it'll get rid of any excess, caulk, chalk, whatever you want to call it. And like that, leave a much smoother sink altogether. But yeah, like I said, just go over it back, back and forth. It does come with 2 pieces of this. So like that, whenever you start using up one too much, you can move on to the next one and really just get all this out the way. But it's pretty smooth. You can see right there, some of the chalk is coming off on my fingertips. But yeah, it definitely hardened, definitely sealed up, our entire crack. So this was definitely, well money spent for sure. And again, take your time when it comes to the sanding. You definitely want to, take your time and really get this down. But personally, I think to us, this is good enough. We're not too worried about the sink, as far as like with the bumps from the caulk or anything like that. We really just needed the crack out of the way, to be honest with you guys. As you can see, some of the, caulk, chalk, whatever you want to call it, is coming off over here. So it does work, but again, it's going to take some time for sure. So do keep that in mind. But all in all, this thing definitely got rid, of our sink. Let me dry up any little small, excessive pieces out here. but it definitely worked, definitely patched up our sink, and yeah, definitely saved us a lot of money from having to call an actual plumber. So this DIY kit is definitely worth every single penny. I love how affordable it is. You can see right there I'm already putting water on it, so you guys can see that it does last. It did fix it, and it doesn't go down a drain or under our sink, I guess you could say, because yeah, we were starting to have that issue where it was just going down under, and we wanted to avoid mold and all that good stuff. But this is a very solid product, so highly recommend. Be sure to check it out. Now link down there in the description below. Grab up a pair, and I guarantee you will not be disappointed. Thank you so much for watching, as always.